I'm sorry. Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in. Wait!
Oh, let's go.
Listen, congratulations.
Big boy. This is going to be the toughest fight of his career.
Shut up, relax.
The most embarrassing fight of his career.
Your chair across your face.
Yeah, I think he's about to cry.
Tyson Fury walking into Jake Paul's training camp has detonated shockwaves throughout the boxing world. This isn't some publicity cameo, a friendly visit, or a cute crossover moment. Fury's presence is intentional and symbolic. A direct, resounding message aimed straight at Anthony Joshua.
Whoever loses is pretty much fucked, I'd say. Because they've had a lot to say. It's like me. When you speak a lot of shit, you got to back it up. And now it's time for the big boys to do it. Get it on.
His involvement instantly escalates the entire situation into something far more serious than a celebrity exhibition. Fury hasn't come to play. He's here to sharpen Jake Paul, to mentor him, to inject a world-class champion's mentality into a fighter daring to enter the deep waters.
I think, hats off to both of them for getting very well paid. I do want to go in and work with Jake Paul in preparation for this fight and preparation for mine. It'll be good to. I need to know what he sees that makes him think this is a good idea. That's one I'm ready to.
Against one of the most dangerous heavyweights of his era. This isn't just a training boost. It's a strategic alliance with someone who has conquered giants, mastered pressure, and rewritten heavyweight history. With the Gypsy King now guiding him, Jake Paul's preparation shifts dramatically.
Anthony Joshua said, "Jake or anyone can get this work, no mercy." I took some time out. I'm coming back with a mega show. It's a big opportunity for me, whether you like it or not. I'm here to do massive numbers, have big fights and break every record whilst keeping cool, calm and collected. So chill in it. I mean, come on, he's jumping in with fake Paul, who has no experience and no fights and no world ranking at heavyweight. Easy work.
Dynamic changes. The stakes rise. The danger for Anthony Joshua becomes harder to ignore. Lawrence Okolia underlines just how monumental this moment is. He stresses that Jake Paul isn't preparing for some cruiserweight journeyman or a retired MMA champion. He's stepping in with a world-class heavyweight, a man with Olympic pedigree, knockout artillery.
Night's work, and it would be massive. And Jake's smart. Look, I know that we have our back and forth. Jake's improving as a fighter, and you have to respect the fact that he's dedicated not just to the business, but also to the hard graft of boxing. I still don't think he's particularly good, but he's a decent
and championship rounds under his belt. Paul has officially plunged into the deep end, and Fury's mentorship only intensifies the seriousness of his training environment. This isn't about learning a jab cross or basic angles. Paul is absorbing elite-level strategy.
Training with the Usyk camp now?
Yeah, he's training with the Usyk camp.
If he's training with the Usyk camp and there's a marked improvement on his performance, he can quite easily clean up again.
Distance awareness, power modulation, situational reactions, and ring psychology. These are lessons only someone like Fury can teach. But Carl Froch brings everything crashing back to reality. Blunt and unapologetic.
Jake took the fight rather than Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has fought the best fighters in the world. He's a solidified champion. But I'm surprised that Jake took the fight and is fighting a guy that's so dangerous like Anthony Joshua. So I got to take my hat off to him. Because we were saying that he's fighting this person past their prime, this person's old and this and whatnot, and now he's fighting.
Apologetically honest, Froch insists Anthony Joshua views Jake Paul as an easy payday. A mismatch of such staggering proportions that it's barely a matchup at all. Fury may elevate Paul's preparation, but Froch refuses to overlook the gap in experience. Joshua's Olympic...
Worry for me would be that if Jake Paul would be able to get through a few rounds and then it could be a danger to his health because there is, ramifications from taking blows like that off Anthony Joshua. But I think the fight could be done quite quickly and when you're talking about the dangers and death and all that, I don't see it like that because I don't think that Jake Paul will be able to...
Background, ferocious power, and polished fundamentals create one of the steepest uphill climbs any YouTuber turned boxer has ever faced. To Froch, it's simple. If Joshua treats the fight seriously, he blasts Paul out in one round. And if he doesn't?
Doesn't harm. AJ. I don't think it does harm. Why? Because I just think he goes in, if it's a real fight, he'd go and blow him away in a round. That's the end. What if he doesn't do him in a round?
Even that possibility raises its own uneasy questions. Eddie Hearn, measured and analytical as always, sees both the ambition and absurdity of the matchup. He respects Paul's commitment, his long camps, his willingness to learn, his discipline. And with Fury's involvement, Hearn acknowledges that Paul is leveling up in a significant way. But Joshua's class, conditioning, and ring generalship make him a massive favorite. Paul may enter the ring sharper and more confident than anyone expected, but Joshua remains the seasoned powerhouse, with abilities Paul has never faced under live fire.
With Ben, I mean, that's the biggest issue with the fight. You know, let's be fair. Jake Paul is an area level fighter, British area level fighter. That's where he's at as a cruiserweight. He's stepping in against a very big heavyweight who's a massive puncher. Just go back to the second fight with Alexander Usyk. Look how great Alexander Usyk has become. And you go back and look at some of the highlights of Joshua's attacks on Usyk and gave him a...
Duke McKenzie adds another layer, pointing out that Joshua is refining his own camp in response. With Fury training Paul, Joshua is zeroing in on his own adjustments, targeted drills, strategic sharpening, high-level conditioning. This isn't just about beating Jake Paul. AJ is preparing to shut down every tactical advantage Fury might try to create. McKenzie makes it clear. Joshua's team understands the stakes, the pressure, and the optics. They're preparing not just to win, but to dominate. Devin Haney, someone who understands world-level demands firsthand, is stunned by Paul's boldness.
Regret the Joshua fight not happening?
No, I don't. I don't regret anything. Life's too short for regrets.
Do you think it's Jake Paul calling him out?
I think it's a good fight. I think it's a real 50-50 fight.
To him, stepping into a ring with Anthony Joshua is an almost surreal leap. Haney isn't disrespectful, but he's realistic. The gap in power, skill, size, and experience forms a mountain few men, let alone a novice heavyweight, would dare to climb. Haney respects Paul's courage, but courage doesn't block right hands. Spencer Oliver offers a stark warning. Even surviving a few rounds with Joshua is dangerous. AJ's punches aren't merely heavy, they're destructive. Precision plus power is a rare combination, and Joshua has...
Last fight, it's great. Because Anthony is Olympic champion, Francis Ngannou, it's second fight for boxing. Listen.
Both. Oliver admits Fury can sharpen Paul's technique, but dealing with Joshua's force under the lights is an entirely different kind of test, one with real physical consequences if underestimated. Carl Frampton echoes the sentiment. To him, Joshua's dominance is overwhelming. Against someone with Paul's limited heavyweight experience, one round may be all AJ needs. Fury's guidance can only go so far. Joshua's speed, size, and championship pedigree leave very little margin for surprises. Frampton isn't dismissing Paul, he's acknowledging the unforgiving reality of heavyweight boxing. Gareth A. Davies widens the frame even further. Jake Paul is used to fighting area-level cruiserweights and ex-MMA fighters. Anthony Joshua is something different entirely, an elite heavyweight who has fought world champions, absorbed punishment from the best, and
genuinely sorry. Like, I want to apologize in advance because I know the emotional turmoil you're going to go through. You're going to go into hiding. That's who you are. You love to go and hide. And so that's what's going to happen.
Push men like Alexander Usyk to their limits. Davies emphasizes just how colossal this leap is. Even seasoned professionals struggle with AJ's pressure, accuracy, and athleticism over the stretch of a fight. For Paul, the challenge borders on unimaginable. This isn't just a step up, it's a dive into the deepest, most dangerous pool in the sport. And then there's Tyson Fury himself. Surprisingly balanced, Fury recognizes Joshua's immense strengths, but also sees elements in Jake Paul that most overlook: his hunger, his unpredictability, and his unconventional rhythms. Fury isn't focused on old rivalries or narratives. He's analyzing the fight as it stands today. He knows Joshua's power is real and his experience vast, but he also believes that with the right training, Paul might exploit certain openings and make the fight closer than critics expect. Fury joining Paul's...
I don't believe to fight Anthony Joshua. It's not like he's beaten, 4 or 5, top line heavyweights, other heavyweights. I don't believe he's boxed any heavyweights.
Camp isn't noise. It's intent. It signals a belief, not that Paul is the favorite, but that he can be dangerous with the right tools, the right mindset, and the right mentor standing behind him. Fury's presence in Jake Paul's camp gives Paul a strategic edge, but even the Gypsy King understands the danger Anthony Joshua brings. This is a high-risk, high-reward gamble, fueled by ambition, ego, and the allure of pulling off the impossible. Alexander Usyk, always direct and grounded, cuts through the noise. He reminds everyone that Joshua is a fully built, fully polished fighter, a decorated heavyweight with years of disciplined development behind him. Jake Paul, no matter how marketable or improving, is still learning the trade. Usyk warns that stepping in with Joshua isn't entertainment. It's a career-defining gamble. The Olympic pedigree, the technical mastery, the championship experience. On paper, it's a mismatch from every angle. Fans can hype Paul's courage and Fury's involvement all the...
I told Anthony, I already messaged Anthony, I said, listen, I tell you what, I said to AJ, if this goes past 5 rounds, everybody's gonna be having a go at you because you can't go past 5 rounds with this kid. He has to go past 1 round or 2 rounds. Past beyond 4 or 5 rounds, people are gonna be doubting you as a fighter himself. So he has to smoke him out like what he did Francis Ngannou in Saudi Arabia in 1.
They want, but Usyk sees it plainly. Joshua is too seasoned, too powerful, too complete. Jake Paul, however, has launched his own psychological warfare. His message to AJ is dripping with swagger. He taunts Joshua, accuses him of folding under pressure, and tries to force emotional reactions. This isn't random trash talk. It's a deliberate attempt to disrupt Joshua's famously structured mindset. AJ thrives on calm discipline. Paul attacking that mental balance is a strategic move, not just bravado. Fans are divided. Some think Paul is delusional, while others recognize the mind games for what they are. An attempt to tilt the battlefield before the opening bell. Duke McKenzie reiterates the core truth. The mismatch in size, power, technique, and experience is enormous. An 18-stone powerhouse against a much smaller, far less seasoned fighter isn't just a test.
This, if Anthony Joshua doesn't turn up, even that Anthony Joshua doesn't turn up, should beat Jake Paul. And there's just that 1% that makes you think, could Anthony Joshua slip up here? Because it's a no-win situation for AJ. If he goes the distance, you struggle with a domestic fighter like Jake Paul. If he gets wobbled or get hurt, how can you let a domestic fighter, a YouTube?
It's a potential career-ending step. McKenzie isn't disrespecting Paul. He's warning against treating heavyweight boxing like a spectacle without acknowledging the real risks involved. Derek Chisora adds another angle. He insists the pressure is on Joshua to finish the fight decisively. Letting the bout drag on could damage his reputation, just as the Francis Ngannou fight was judged harshly by many fans. Chisora warns that any hesitation against someone perceived as an underdog like Paul will invite criticism. AJ must be ruthless, sharp, and dominant. Johnny Nelson frames the stakes even more starkly. For Joshua, this is a no-win scenario. He's expected to wipe Paul out. But one unexpected shot, one moment of chaos, one mistake could spiral into a public relations disaster. Paul's unpredictability, paired with an enormous media spotlight, puts immense pressure on Joshua to avoid even a hint of vulnerability. As this explosive saga reaches its peak, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. Tyson Fury joining Jake Paul's camp has injected chaos, excitement, pressure, and unpredictability into a matchup nobody saw coming. Analysts are split. Veterans are weighing in. Fans are glued to every update. This isn't a normal fight. It's a collision of worlds. Experience versus audacity, power versus hype, pedigree versus ambition.